Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to the second semi-final contest of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge 2024 version 6.0. The first one was hot and competitive. It had to take the last round to separate the two great institutions, the University of Cape Coast and the Kwame Nkrumah University and Technology. This one promises to give us the same or similar excitement and vibes. This one is between two champions, two zonal champions. The Southwest Zonal Champion, who also happens to be the defending national champion, the University of Education Winneba. They come face to face with the pride of the North. Yes, the, the champions of the Northern Zone, the University for Development Studies. Ladies and gentlemen, the Tertiary Business Science Challenge is brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana and the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission. Our media partners are Daily Graphic, Graphic Online, TV3, and Asasi Radio. The program is streaming live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Our sponsors, MTN Ghana, PwC, Compu Ghana, Glyco, Ghana National Association of Teachers, and Gwel Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, this contest will be won by a school from either the Southwest Zone or the Northern Zone. The UDS won the Tertiary Business Science Challenge in 2020. At that time, they were together with the SD Dombo University, and they won. They have what it takes to win again. Indeed, they look poised to achieve just that. They have braved all the odds, and they are in the semifinals in a very long time. Yes. This means they are prepared to go the extra mile to win this contest. And from their faces, the gentlemen from the north, the brave men from Tamale are ready to roll. They are ready to defend the northern part of the country. And indeed, they are capable of causing a huge upset with the defending champion, the University of Education Winneba. UEW are defending national champion. They have also won the Southwest Zone Championship. And of course, they'll be looking to be the first school to win back-to-back TBSC championships. Yes, they look poised to do just that. They are very determined. The strong men from Simpa, they want to be the first school to achieve that history. And ladies and gentlemen, you cannot bet against them because they have what it takes to do just that. With a round of applause, please join me as we welcome the two teams from Winneba and from Tamale to take their seats upstage. Gentlemen, you are welcome on stage. Please introduce yourself, UDS.
Yusuf Abdelhanan, BSc Accounting level 300.
Rafiq Salam, BSc Accounting level 300.
Yusuf Sukaraj, HRM level 300.
You are welcome, gentlemen. Okay. Who do we have from the University of Education Winneba?
Agboad and Joshua, BB Accounting level 400.
Fiadupe Success, therefore, BB Accounting level 400.
Fiatiron Kojo, BB Accounting level 300.
You are welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
University of Education Winneba, as defending champions and as zonal champion for the Southwest Zone, I want to believe there is a lot of pressure on you to qualify to the finals. How are you able to manage that pressure?
We actually soak pressure. We are more of, pressure doesn't take us, we soak it. And it's really part of us. Yeah.
All right, so pressure soakers. What should we expect from you today?
We are always known of starting on the low key, and our last two contests we've seen an improvement, and today promises to be a higher version of what we witnessed at the quarterfinal stage.
UDS, as defending Northern Zone champion, the very first time we're organizing zonal champions in the North, you won it. You have the whole of the Northern region solidly behind you. Is that not putting a lot of pressure on you?
We consider that an honor, in fact, a great one, of course, and we don't take that lightly, and we intend to do justice to that. We shall win.
What should we expect from you today, UDS?
Winning attitude.
Winning attitude, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, to progress to the finals, you need a winning attitude and a winning mentality. A place at the grand finale is at stake. Already, we have the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology at the finals. One of these two schools, UEW on my right, UDS on my left, only one will be able to join KNUST at the final. Who is it going to be, ladies and gentlemen? Will it be the central region or the northern region? Will it be Tamale or Winneba? Will it be the southwest zone or the northern zone? Ladies and gentlemen, your guess is as good as mine. The contest is going to be organized in 5 rounds. Round 1 is on theory, round 2 calculations, round 3 the case of the day, round 4A graphic business segment, round 4B true or false. The 5th and final round will be the riddles. Please, are you ready, gentlemen? Oh, okay. So, before we do justice, we want to go for a very quick commercial break and then come and go straight into action. We'll be right back.
The very essence of leadership is to become more. At ICAG, we stand for leadership and we are inspired to offer more. Leadership stands up to be answerable. We use our national and international conferences to tell our story and hold ourselves to high global benchmarks. Leadership is where brilliance is rewarded. We reward brilliance with scholarships for postgraduate students. Leadership thrives on fresh ideas. Our tertiary business sense challenge makes you see business from a different perspective. Leadership is not about today. We keep an eye on tomorrow by providing internships in high-ranked institutions to inspire the next generation of business leaders. Leadership is acquiring ATSWA, CA Professional, Post-Chartered Diploma from ICAG. ICAG, where leaders become more. The very
from the commercial break, yes. It is still the contest between UDS and UEW. A place at the grand finale is at stake. Ladies and gentlemen, we go straight into round 1, which is on theory. We are going to begin this round from the University of Education, Winneba. Now in this round, each of you will be asked a theory question, 7 major questions in all. If you get your major question correct, that is 3 points. For a bonus, it is 1 point. 10 seconds to answer a major question, 5 seconds if it's a bonus. 2 attempts only at a major question, 1 attempt at a bonus. Beginning with UEW, but this is a common preamble. In business law, warranties are promises or guarantees made by a seller to a buyer about the quality, condition, or performance of a product or service. There are different types of warranties. You have to differentiate between the following types of warranties. Differentiate between the following types of warranties. UEW, warranty of title and warranty against infringement. Warranty of title and warranty against infringement.
So it's a type of warranty where overall or where one party guarantee the other party of a good title to a product. Whereas the warranty of infringement is when the one party guarantee the another party of his right in the contract?
Please come again with your answer. I want one person to speak. I don't want to hear two voices.
All right, sir. So for the warranty of title, that's when one party guarantees the other party of, the title of a good. That in a case where the good is lost or something, they will provide it back to them. And also the warranty of infringement is where the one party guarantees the other party that in a case where his or his right is infringed or a specific aspect is infringed, he will provide that for them.
2 out of 3. I'll explain. UDS, yours is statutory warranty and full warranty. Statutory warranty and full warranty.
The statutory warranty is the warranty that is backed by law, while the full one is that the one that the item is going to is guarantee of full compensation in case of damages.
Come again with your answer, Yusuf.
So basically, the statutory warranty.
Who is talking? I want the one who spoke to speak to me.
Just rehash what he said.
Go ahead.
So statutory warranties are actual warranties that are provided for in law, and the full warranty basically refers to that warranty that guarantees full assurance that should anything happen, it will be dealt with accordingly.
It will be dealt with accordingly. How will it be dealt with accordingly? I'll give you 2 out of 3. Yes, a statutory warranty is a warranty provided by law and are often found in customer protection statutes. For a full warranty, a type of express warranty where the seller guarantees to repair or replace the defective product without charge and within a reasonable period of time. For UEW, warranty of title is an assurance that the seller has a right to whatever goods he or she is selling. Now, warranty against infringement assures that the goods that are being sold do not infringe on any third party's rights. I hope you get it. That is warranty against infringement. And that is why I gave you 2 out of 3. Next set of questions, common preamble to the two of you. Common preamble. Now, when you are conducting a going concern assessment, you know as accountant, you are supposed to conduct going concern assessment annually, or depending on the situation, may be done more frequently. It is essential to evaluate both qualitative and quantitative factors. The goal of this assessment is to determine whether a company can continue to operate for the foreseeable future, typically defined as at least 12 months from the financial reporting date. That is the preamble. Now your major question, UEW. State and explain briefly any 3 qualitative factors that should be considered in conducting a going concern assessment. State and explain briefly any 3 qualitative factors that should be considered in conducting a going concern assessment.
Okay, so the first qualitative characteristics is for the auditors to check the operational effectiveness of the entity to see whether the entity will be able to operate into the foreseeable future. And also they should also look at maybe whether there is a natural disaster or any other unforeseen events that may occur which may impair the going concern of the entity. And then they should also look at the integrity of the management and those that are actually in top management. Also assess the risks in the organization to see whether the organization will be able to also continue and operate into the foreseeable future.
Yes, that's fine. UDS, state and explain briefly any 3 quantitative factors that should be considered in conducting a going concern assessment. State and explain briefly any 3 quantitative factors that should be considered in conducting a going concern assessment.
So you need to first look at the profitability or the solvency of the company as far as dealing with debt is concerned. We also need to look at the assets to liability of the company, as whether the company can be able to provide for current debt and probably the long-term debt as well. You equally need to look at the ability of the company to finance its operations.
Okay, so maybe working capital fine. I'll accept that. It's fine. Next set of question, common preamble. Corporate governance refers to the system of rules, practices, and processes by which a company is directed and controlled. Various approaches to corporate governance have been developed globally to ensure that companies operate ethically, efficiently, and in the best interest of all stakeholders. You are to explain the following approaches to corporate governance with relevant features and one example of a country where it is practiced. Explain the following approaches to corporate governance with relevant features and one example of a country where it is practiced. UEW, yours is the Anglo-American approach. Anglo-American approach.
So with Anglo-American approach, this is where they make sure that in addressing the corporate governance issues of the company, they look at the risk management, and then you also consider strategy, and then the people that are involved. With this kind of strategy, they make sure that everybody that is in the organization partakes in decision making, and then it's a holistic kind of organization, and they don't look down on risk assessment. And also a country where it is practiced can be America, USA, and then possibly Ghana.
Possibly. I didn't ask for possible answer. So I'll give you 2 out of 3. UDS, yours is European approach. European approach.
The European approach of corporate governance got to do with the system where you have an established board that oversees the work of the management, and that of the management overseeing the work of other subordinates within the company. And we have that practice in Ghana and England.
So I'm giving you 1 out of 3. So it is not practiced in Ghana or England. England relates to the Anglo-American. It is not practiced in Ghana as well. Now, the Anglo-American approach focuses essentially on the interests of shareholders. So the key thing about the Anglo-American approach is that they consider the interests of shareholders as paramount, and whatever they do is to satisfy the interests of shareholders. Okay. Now, for the European approach, they consider the interests of all stakeholders, not just shareholders. They consider the interests of all stakeholders, and they look at the responsibility and broader impact of corporate actions on various stakeholder groups. And European countries like Germany, France, and then the Scandinavian countries and other parts of Europe. Next set of questions, UEW. UEW. Lean manufacturing entails streamlining processes and procedures to eliminate waste and thereby maximize productivity. Womack and Jones define the 5 principles of lean manufacturing in their book, The Machine That Changed the World. The 5 principles are considered a recipe for improving workplace efficiency. You have to identify and explain briefly any 3 of the 5 principles of lean manufacturing. Identify and explain briefly any 3 of the 5 principles of lean manufacturing. UEW.
So, according to Womack and Jones, the first stage is sort. This is where they have to make sure they go and look for the products that they will use in their production. they should straighten here has to do with putting the product in the right condition that will be able to fit into the production process. And then they should also shine. That is actually making the product look good on the market.
I won't take that.
So we have.
Oh, you've been bailed out. You are bailed out. So the answer you gave is not accepted. Yes. Bonus for you, UDS.
Okay, so we've got flow, which is got to do with the flow of the process, or which is got to do with the process that one follows to manufacture. And then we've got value, which has got to do with the value that should be given to customers. Value stream, that has got to do with streamlining the process to create the value that the customers deserve.
I'll accept that. Now your major question, UDS. The 5S methodology is a key component of the Kaizen philosophy, focused on workplace organization and standardization to improve efficiency and productivity. You are to identify and explain briefly any three of the 5 elements of the 5S methodology of Kaizen. Identify and explain briefly any three of the 5 elements of the 5S methodology of Kaizen.
So we've got systems, we've got strategy, we've got structure, we've got, and structure has got to do with the nature of the organization, how it is being run. The system has got to do with the rules and procedures used in the organization, and the strategy has got to do with how it is ways used to achieve the organizational goals.
Not correct. Bonus for UEW.
So we have sorts. That's looking for the product and then making sure you get the product into the production process. We have trading. That is putting the product in the right condition. And when we have shine, where you make sure that the product, when it goes to the market, is accepted and is in the right condition for the market or for people, customers to buy.
Yes, that is correct. For the next set of questions, we begin with UDS, but this is a common preamble. When importing goods into Ghana, the importer must ensure that the right procedures with the requirements for clearing them, especially with respect to the status of their prohibition. There are 2 levels of prohibitions of import. We have absolute import prohibitions and conditional import prohibitions. UDS, explain what is meant by absolute import prohibition and identify 2 examples of product or import that fall within that category. Explain what is meant by absolute import prohibitions and identify 2 examples of imports that fall within that country.
So, say if I may, is it absolute or obsolete?
I said absolute.
Okay, so absolute prohibition basically refers to those that are absolutely prohibited from being imported into the country. And that's one example is the importation of so one example would be
time is going, I cannot wait for you forever. Yes. Let's move on. I'll give you 1 out of 3. UEW. Yours is to explain what is meant by conditional import prohibitions and identify 2 examples of imports that fall within that category. Explain what is meant by conditional import prohibition and identify 2 examples of imports that fall within that category.
So conditional import prohibitions are actually goods that everybody or not anybody at all can import into the country. And before you import that good, you must have satisfied some preconditions before they will allow you to import the good into the country. And then the first example that we can talk about is photographic papers. Papers that are being used to print photos, and then photo printing machines. It's not everybody that can import. You have to be licensed before you be able to import that. And then we have maybe ammunitions, and ammunitions, everybody cannot import that into the country. It must be by the military or through the Ministry of Defense before those things can be imported into the country.
I'll give you 2 out of 3. Yes, you explained it well. You also mentioned the photographic, that's acceptable. The challenge is with the weapons. Some weapons are strictly prohibited. They are under absolute import prohibition. And then we may have certain types that are under conditional import prohibition. The ones that are there are weapons for discharge of noxious liquids. So I'm not sure I want to accept that. That is why I gave you 2 out of 3. For our next set of questions, still with a common preamble, beginning with UDS. In economics, an indifference curve is a line drawn between different consumption bundles on a graph charting the quantity of good A consumed versus the quantity of good B consumed. At each of the consumption bundles, the individual is said to be indifferent. There are a number of properties and assumptions of these indifference curves. UDS, you have to state 3 characteristics of indifference curves. State 3 characteristics, not assumptions. 3 characteristics of indifference curves.
So one characteristic is that they do not intersect, and the one to the right is preferable or is higher than that to the left. And we've got bundles on each curve, and each bundle provides the same utility to the consumer.
Come again with your last point.
Each curve contains a list of bundles, and those bundles are supposed to yield the same level of satisfaction to the consumer.
I'm giving you 2 out of 3. UEW, you have to give me 3 assumptions of indifference curves. 3 assumptions, not characteristics, of indifference curves.
So the first assumption is that the combination of any parts on the indifference curve gives the consumer a high level or maximum level of satisfaction, and then it contains only 2 products, and also it is drawn in a commodity space, and it is downward sloping, and prices are actually fixed.
How many? I asked you to state 3. I want you to be clear on the 3 you want to state. And then I tell you the marks I'll give you.
Okay. So any 2 combinations on the indifference curve give the consumer a maximum level of satisfaction. It contains only 2 products, and then the prices there are fixed. Also, the consumer makes a rational.
Oh, God. I asked you to state 3. You've stated the 3. Why do you want to add on?
It's 1 point.
I'm giving you 1 out of 3. The assumptions: rationality, transitivity. So it is not entirely true that there are generally two products. Completeness, non-satiation, and diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Their characteristics: downward sloping, convex to the origin. Higher indifference curves represent higher utility. Indifference curves cannot cross marginal rate of substitution. Last set of questions for this round. Common preamble. Break-even analysis is a financial tool used to determine the point at which the total revenues equal total cost, meaning a business neither makes a profit nor incurs a loss. Several key assumptions underpin break-even analysis, ensuring that the model provides accurate and meaningful results. You have to identify and explain briefly UDS, 3 assumptions of break-even analysis. 3 assumptions of break-even analysis.
So we have total cost is equal to total revenue. And we have variable cost is is used in determining.
I'm not sure I can wait for you forever. Bonus for UEW. The answer you gave is not correct.
So the first assumption is that they assume that price is fixed, and they assume that there is a fixed cost for within a certain level of time, and also the another assumption is that the firm makes zero profit at break even.
For a bonus, I won't take that last point. That has spoiled everything. I needed 3. I won't accept the last one. So I won't take that for a bonus. Now your major question is to identify any 3 uses of break-even analysis. Identify any 3 uses of break-even analysis.
Alright, so the break-even is used as a basis of setting price. Also, and also used as a means of making buy or sell decisions. It's also used as a means of forecasting sales.
Yes, I'll take that. On that note, we'll come to the end of round 1. We've come to the end of round 1 in the contest between the University of Education Winneba and the University for Development Studies. A place at the grand finale is at stake. One of these 2 schools will qualify to join KNUST at the finals. Remember, both are zonal champions. UDS is a Northern Zone champion, UEW is a Southwest Zone champion. Our scores for round 1, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of round 1, UDS had 10 points, UEW had 14 points. We are going into round 2. This round will commence from UDS. We are beginning with you, UDS. Now, calculate. No, before that, there will be 7 major questions in all. 30 seconds to answer a question in 2 attempts only. For 3 points. For a bonus, you have 5 seconds in 1 attempt for 1 point only. All right, we begin this round from UDS. UDS, calculate the 4-firm concentration ratio and the Herfindahl-Hecksman index for an industry with the following market shares: 30%, 25%, 20%, 15%, and all other firms 10%. 30%, 25%, 20%, 15%, and 10%. Calculate the 4-firm concentration ratio and the Herfindahl-Hecksman index for the industry. Give a bell out. Bonus for UEW.
So the 4 concentration ratio is 90%, and the Herfindahl index is 2,150.
No, for a bonus. For a bonus, I won't take that. One is correct, the other is not correct. Now your major question, UEW. I won't tell you which one is correct and which one is not correct. You have to calculate the 4-firm concentration ratio and the Herfindahl-Hecksman index for an industry with the following market shares: 25%, 25%, 20%, 25%, and 5%. 25%, 25%, 20%, 25%, and 5%. Calculate the 4-firm concentration ratio and the Herfindahl-Hecksman index.
So the 4 concentration ratio is 95%, and the Herfindahl ratio is 2275.
No, you have one
So
other chance.
the four consideration is 100, and then the index is 2300.
2 out of 3. So in one instance, one of your answers is correct, the other is wrong. In his instance, one of his answers is correct, the other is wrong. It is 95% and 2,300. The concentration ratio is 95% and the index is 2,300. I hope we get that. Next set of questions. Still beginning with UDS. The government of Ghana has provided you with the following data for the past 3 years. It's a common preamble. Please take notes. The government of Ghana has provided you with the following financial data for the past 3 fiscal years. 2023, total revenue is 100 billion. Total expenditure, 120 billion. Total public debt, 300 billion. 2024, total revenue is 110 billion. 130 billion for total expenditure, 320 billion for total public debt. 2025, 120 billion for total revenue, 140 billion for total expenditure, and 350 billion for total public debt. Please, did we get the figures? Did we get the figures, UDS? 2023, revenue 100, expenditure 120, public debt 300. 2024, revenue 110, expenditure 130, public debt 320. 2025, revenue 120, expenditure 140, public debt 350. Now your question is to calculate the following fiscal sustainability indicators for each year, assuming that interest on public debt is 15%. So I'm going to mention an indicator to you. You have to compute it, assuming that interest on public debt is 15%. UDS, yours is primary balance. Primary balance. Compute that for me for each of the 3 years.
The first one, 2022, we got the primary balance being negative 20. The second, which is 2024, being negative 20. The third being is equally negative 20.
That is not correct. Bonus for UEW.
So the first one we have negative 365, and the second one we have
Time. I'm not waiting for you.
we have 660.5, and then the third one we have
In any case, that is
5.
not correct, so let's stop wasting our time. It is not correct. I'll give you the answers later. Now, UEW, your major question is to compute the debt service ratio. Debt service ratio.
So for the first, which is 2022, we have 6.667, and the second one, which one do you have? And the second one we have, divide this one. The second one we have, we have
Time.
6.67, and the third one we have 10.0.
That is not correct. Even bailed out. Bonus for UDS.
First one we have 2.5%. second one 2.4%, and third one 2.5%.
No, that is also not correct. Debt service ratio essentially is interest payment divided by total revenue. The public debt figures for 2023 was 300. You multiply that by 15, you have 45. 45 over total revenue of 100 should give you 45%. So we have 45%, 43.64%, and 43.75%. Primary balance is revenue minus non-interest expenditure. So your total revenue minus your expenditure, but the expenditure should not include interest. So you compute interest and subtract the interest from your total expenditure before finding the difference between your revenue and that non-interest expenditure to get a primary balance. Next set of questions. Common preamble. ICAG company has collected the following data on production cost over the last 4 months. In the month of January, unit produced 1,000. Total cost is 20,000. February, unit produced 1,500. Total cost 25,000. March, unit produced 2,000. Total cost 30,000. And April, 2,500 units produced. Total cost is 35,000. Using the high-low method, calculate the variable cost per unit, the total fixed cost, and determine the total cost equation. Using the high-low method, let me give you the figures again. In January, units produced 1,000, total cost 20,000. February, 1,500, total cost 25,000. March, unit produced 2,000, total cost 30,000. And April, unit produced 2,500, and the total cost is 35,000. Using the high-low method, calculate the variable cost per unit, total fixed cost, and determine the total cost equation.
The variable cost per unit is 0.01. The
Fixed cost. The fixed cost is
You have 2 seconds to give me an answer.
fixed cost is 3,500.
I'm not taking that anyway. That's wrong. Bonus for UEW.
We have variable cost of 10 cedis, fixed cost of 10,000 Ghana cedis, total cost of 10,000 plus 10Q.
Yes, that is correct. Now your major question, UEW. Glycolife has collected the following data on production costs over the last 4 months. May, unit produced 800, total cost 16,000. June, 1,200 units produced, total cost 22,000. July, unit produced 1,600, total cost 28,000. And August, 2,000 units produced, 36,000 total cost. Using the high-low method, calculate the variable cost per unit, total fixed cost, and determine the total cost equation. I take it again. May, 800 units at 16,000 cedis. June, 1,200 units at 22,000 cedis. July, 1,600 units at 28,000. And August, 2,000 units at 36,000. Using the high-low method, calculate the variable cost per unit, the total fixed cost, and determine the total cost equation.
So we have a variable cost of 16 cedis, 67 Ghana cedis, and we have a fixed
What
cost.
are you saying?
We have a variable cost of 16 cedis, 67 pesos. We also have a fixed cost of 2664 Ghana cedis. And we have a total cost function of 2664 plus 16.67 Q.
Yes. For the next set of questions, we begin with UEW. All right, let's do some probability. A box contains 4 green balls and 6 yellow balls. If 3 balls are drawn without replacement, what is the probability that at least 1 ball is green? A box contains 4 green balls and 6 yellow balls. If 3 balls are drawn without replacement, what is the probability that at least 1 ball is green?
$0.542.
No, please, you have one other chance.
So Aaron, be on the floor. So the answer to this question is 0.44.
No. Bonus for UDS.
That's 0.4.
No, please. It is not correct. I'll give the answer later. Now, your major question, UDS. A box contains 4 green balls and 6 blue balls. If 2 balls are drawn without replacement, what is the probability that at least 1 ball is green? A box contains 4 green balls and 6 yellow balls. No, 6 blue balls. If 2 balls are drawn without replacement, what is the probability that at least 1 ball is green?
So that's 0.51.
No, please, you have one other chance.
0.25.
I won't take that. Bonus for UEW.
0.48.
No, it is 0.67. Your major question was 0.83. That is 5 over 6, and this one is 2 over 3. Next set of questions. UEW. An individual in Ghana has the following sources of income for the year. Salary is 50,000 cedis. Rental income on a residential property is 20,000 cedis. Dividend income is 10,000 cedis. Calculate the total tax payable considering the following. First 3,828 is free. Next 1,200 is 5%. Next 1,440 is 10%. Next 36,000 is 17.5%. And exceeding 42468 is 25%. I take it again. An individual in Ghana has the following sources of income for the year. Salary is 50,000 cedis. Rental income on a residential property is 20,000. Dividend income is 10,000. Calculate the total tax payable considering the following. First 3,828 is free. Next 1,200 is 5%. Next 1,440 is 10%. Next 36,000 is 17.5%. And exceeding 42,468 is 25%.
So add it to plus 60.
So the answer is 4283.
No, it is not
So
4283.
we have a dividend withholding of
Even
that-
bell down. The answer you gave is not correct. But once the bell has gone, you cannot give a different answer. Bonus for UDS.
6,504.
No, please, it is not correct. It is not correct. The answer I'll give later. Your major question, still the same preamble. An individual in Ghana has the following sources of income for the year. Salary is 75,000. Rental income on residential property is 30,000. Dividend income is 22,000. Calculate the total tax payable, considering the following. The first 3828 is free. Next 1,200 is 5%. Next 1,440 is 10%. Next 36,000 is 17.5%. And exceeding 42468 is 25%. I take it again. An individual in Ghana has the following sources of income for the year. Salary 75,000. Rental income on residential property 30,000. Dividend income is 22,000. Calculate the total tax payable, considering the following. First 3828 is free. Next 1,200 is 5%. Next 1,440 is 10%. Next 36,000 is 17.5%. And exceeding 42468 is 25%.
You have 27,637.
No, you have one other chance. Give him bailed out. Bonus for UEW.
So we have 19037.
No, it is 18797. The tax on the salary is 14,637. Rental income 8% of the 30,000 should give us 2,400. Withholding tax on dividend income is 8% of 22,000. For your major question earlier, it was 10,787. Next set of questions. UEW. A firm's profit function is given by total revenue minus total cost, which is equal to 20 kilo. That is the total revenue function is 20 kilo minus the total cost function, which is 100 plus 5 kilo plus 0.1 kilo squared. Find the quantity that maximizes profits. A firm's profit function is given by TR minus TC. TR is 20 kilo and TC is 100 plus 5 kilo plus 0.1 kilo squared. Find the quantity that will maximize profits.
So the quantity is 125.
No, it is not 125. You have one other chance.
If you differentiate this and
Yes, 75. UDS. A firm's profit function is given by TR minus TC. That is 30 kilo for the TR. TC is 200 plus 10 kilo plus 0.2 kilo squared. Find the quantity that maximizes profit. A firm's profit function is given by total revenue minus total cost. Total revenue is 30 kilo and total cost is 200 plus 10 kilo plus 0.2 kilo squared. Find the quantity that maximizes profit. Even belled out. Bonus for UEW.
50.
Yes, 50. And now, our last set of questions for this round. Last set of questions. ABC Bank Limited has a number of loans outstanding. For each of the gross loans I'm going to mention, determine how much should be set aside as a loan provision against bad debt or default. ABC Bank Limited has a number of bank loans outstanding. For each of the gross loans that I'll mention to you, determine how much should be set aside as a loan provision against bad debts. UEW, the gross loan that you have is 100,000, and the classification is that it is doubtful. 100,000, and it is doubtful. How much should be set aside as provision for bad debts?
So 50,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes, that is correct. UDS, your gross loan is 400,000, and the classification is that it is current. 400,000 gross loan. Classification is that the loan is current.
Zero provisions.
No, please, it is not correct. You have one other chance.
So that's 40,000.
It is not 40,000. You've exhausted your two chances. Bonus for UEW.
60,000.
No, please. It is 4,000. For a loan that is current, it means the loan is in default for less than 30 days and the rate of provisioning is 1%. On that note, we come to the end of round 2. Ladies and gentlemen, a place at the grand finale is what they are fighting for. Only one can make it to the grand finale. We have KNUST at the finals already. The next semi-final contest is going to feature the Southeast Zone champion, the University of Ghana, against the runners-up from the Northern Zone, SD Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies. So, ladies and gentlemen, the scores for round 2. At the end of round 2, UDS had no points. UEW had 13 points. We are going into round 3, and that is a business case of the day. Both schools have been presented with a problem, and then they have worked out their solution. They will be presenting that solution to us. So we will go for a very quick commercial break. Once we return, we have the presentation from UEW and UDS. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Good day, panel of judges. Good day, viewers. I am Fiadufe, the team lead for Team UEW. And as part of the semi-final stage, we have been tasked with a case study for a company known as Metro Retail, which has been in operation in West Africa for the past 2 decades, and they have more than 50 outlets across West Africa. With the case we have, the case is actually on internal controls. And the first question asks us to identify some internal controls that have been outlined in the case. So the first one that we have identified is the improper inventory management. Second, heavy reliance on manual processes, inadequate tracking systems, poor electronic transaction accountability. With Metro Retail, they actually have the employees have unrestricted access to the inventory. There is no storekeeper, there is nobody to dispatch goods, there is no segregation of authority or duties as far as Metro Retail is concerned. So everybody have access to, for that matter, people take advantage and sometimes steal some of the goods. With the second question, the second question is for us to identify ways to reduce the inventory discrepancies that Metro Retail is actually facing. And the first one that we have recommended is that they should automate their tracking system. They should reduce, they should have regular stock taking. They should implement both physical and logical security controls. They should have storekeeper. With all these measures, they will be able to know who is taking what inventory at what point, who is dispatching what inventory, and if they should have a storekeeper, the storekeeper will give them updated record of the current inventory that is at hand. The third question is for us to identify the importance of strong controls over employee expenses. And the first one that we have come out with is if they're able to control employee expenses that are outrageous, that they don't really have any system of tracking the employee expenses, they'll be able to reduce opportunity for theft, they'll be able to reduce misappropriation of assets, enhance financial performance and proper cash management. If they're able to control employee expenses very well, they will be able to manage their budget so well that there will not be any deficit at the end of the day, and at the end their profit will also grow. And shareholders will also enjoy, or shareholders will to be maximized if they are able to control inventory expenses. The fourth one we have is for them. The fourth question is for us to identify the role of internal auditors in improving financial reporting. The first role that internal auditors actually play is they ensure compliance to standards, they ensure effective risk management, they also ensure strong and effective internal controls, regular assessments of financial accuracy. If the auditors are in place, they make sure that everything runs out smoothly. Nobody will be able to have an authorized access to the inventories. Expenses will be actually, there will be an oversight of our expenses, or maybe the due approval process before this one's expenses are being approved. And with the fifth question, we have challenges in implementing this particular internal control because the company has been in operation for the past 2 decades. The employees have familiarized themselves with the system. So the first one is that as the change is coming, the employees are definitely going to resist the change because they don't have the time to have free access to the goods again. The new implementation may also slow down operation process because it's being introduced to them newly, and then they don't really have much knowledge about it. There will be high cost or first installation cost of the IT system and everything, and difficulty in adapting to the new change because there will be a cultural shift in the organization and everything will seem new to them. Then one is possibility of new system. The system might actually fail. So actually, the question does not ask us to recommend, but as part of, together with my team, we have recommend some issues for them to look at. So my colleague, Aaron, will take over.
Thank you, Captain. So looking at the hurdles that this organization is facing, me and my formidable team recommended some few things that they could do is to be able to ensure that they do proper inventory management and build a strong inventory control systems. So you can look at establishment of internal audit committee, regular audit and review, automate their system, educate employees on the importance of regulatory compliance, sanction employees from non-compliance. So doing these things, they'll be able to improve their inventory system and build a strong internal control. Thank you.
Opportunity. On that note, we come to the end of the continuation of our class.
Thank you very much, University of Education, Winneba. And now, University for Development Studies, you may take the floor. You have 5 minutes, but wait. So after the video and your slides.
Good afternoon, sirs. I'm Rafiq Salam, the rep from University for Development Studies, School of Business. I'm here to talk about an enterprise known as Metro Retail, a well-known department shop which has over 50 outlets across the region and focuses in dealing in fashion, electronics, and consumable goods. What specifically am I coming to talk about Metro Retail shop, Metro Retail business? I'm coming to talk about the internal control deficiencies that we have detected that is affecting their operation, how those weaknesses are actually affecting their operation, how to deal with those weaknesses, and likely challenges to be encountered in dealing with those weaknesses. So we went through and we realized that the main internal control weaknesses of Metro Retail are unrestricted access to inventory by the workers. And clearly, every work should have a designated assigned individual for that. And for that matter, we recommend that. And for that matter, Metro Retail has a deficiency in that regard, allowing each and everyone to be having access to their stock or inventory. We also realized that the management supervision and review of the financial reporting process was poor, which is very important. Your financial reports actually is a depiction of your true performance, and it is important that management take key interest in that, and for that matter, that is a weakness on their part. We also discovered that they have a poor and manual record keeping. Records are actually the name of the game in business. So for that matter, we think that there's a weakness in that regard, and that should be checked. So one way to deal with this discrepancy we have detected is the installation of electronic tracking system to ensure that each goods are actually tracked, where it is going, and who has taken it. So that is one way to actually check the weaknesses of inventory mismanagement. We also think that there should be restricted access or out of bound, and that is basically to suggest that we should have designated individuals assigned to it. We should have a storekeeper or the storekeepers in charge of that. That would ensure that no other person has access to inventory if they are not sanctioned to. Why must you have a strong control over your employees' expenses? Clearly, expenses are a cost to a business. And as long as costs affects your profitability and your sustenance, it is important that management take key interest in how expenses are dealt with in order to ensure that they remain profitable and in business. We also think that to avoid this, to avoid the overstatement of expenses by employees, management should ensure that records are taken when doing that. So the role of internal auditor in improving financial reporting at Metro Retail includes the requirement of proper recording of transactions by all individuals who undertake that assignment. That has got to do with the bookkeepers and the accountants of the institution. We also think that there should be verification of transactions in order to ensure that transactions are not falsified or documents are not falsified that can bring about a cost. There should be cross-checking of receipts and tickets, and that is basically to ensure that the transactions actually occur and they actually amount to what they depict to. Challenges that is likely to be encountered by an enterprise or any other enterprise in installing a new system is the issue of resistance. So we think that management should see to it that resistance are checked. There's likely to be an issue of cost, and cost should equally be considered. But you know, cost is not the ultimate here. Cost has benefits. So if the benefit of installing each of these systems is worth it, why not? We think that that should be done. We also think that installing such a system may bring about delays. And delays, as I said, is a cost to the business, and a cost that is worth it is worth it. And for that matter, management should go ahead to put up such a system. Thank you.
Give the microphone to them. All right. Thank you very much, Rafiq, as well as Success, for that presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, like we said, in this round, we have 3 distinguished guests who are going to speak to the presentation that was just made by our two institutions. They are going to ask them questions or seek further clarification from them. The three judges. The first is Mr. Dixon Hassan. He is the accountant and compliance manager at Lantini Limited. The second is Mr. Albert Ni Aitegu. He is the head of finance and investment at the Ghana Commodity Exchange. And the third is Mr. Eli Plim Sigmund Yevuga. He's a managing partner at Aspire Executive Consult or Institute. So, judges, you may speak to them. I don't know how you want to go about it.
I want to seek for clarification. But first of all, thank you guys for a good presentation. In suggesting what challenges the retail company might face, you indicated employee resistance. What do you suggest, or what do you think can be done to break or reduce that in the implementation phase?
Thank you, sir, for the question. Actually, as far as this system is concerned, employees have been very familiar with the system for a very long period of time, so they may resist to change. So what management can do to neutralize their resistance to change is, first, they have to educate them, train them about, and then tell them the benefit of the change that is actually going to provide to the organization and them as a
Right. Rafiq, good presentation. Right. Just want a quick question from you. Can you tell us what key factors can be used to assess the adequacy of an internal audit function? Very important.
Can you have that? Can I hear that again?
I'm saying that what are the key factors you can use to assess the adequacy of an internal audit function?
So, one way we can actually determine the accuracy or the efficacy or the adequacy of an internal control system has to do with its ability to actually check what it is purported to do. And that is to be able to check those weaknesses of discrepancies in recording of transactions and other weaknesses that are discovered in the institution. So the internal auditing process must be able to do what it seeks to do, and that is detection of internal weaknesses and correcting them or preventing them in totality.
Judges, are we okay? All right. So the judges have listened to them. They have extracted further information from them. At this moment, the judges will go into a conclave and come out with their scores for them. We'll be right back to tell you how the scores went for round 3 after a very quick commercial break. See you soon.
Is a great source of power, adding to your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact, and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily graphic and our weeklies, The Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports on Graphic News Plus app. It's the digital replicas of our work. Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and friends. Choose the bundle that best works for you from as low as 10 Ghana cedis weekly for unlimited access to all publications. Graphic, truth and accuracy every day. Information is a great source of power, adding to your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact, and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily graphic and our weeklies, The Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports on Graphic News Plus app. It's the digital replicas of our work. Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and friends. Choose the bundle that best works for you from as low as 10 Ghana cedis weekly for unlimited access to all publications. Graphic, truth and accuracy every day.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome back. So the judges have listened to them and they have the scores for us. We'll go to the judges and listen to the scores they have for each of the schools. Judge 1, what is the score for UDS?
UDS 10.5.
UEW?
12.
Okay. Judge 2, UDS?
UDS 10.
UEW?
14.5.
Okay. Judge 3,
UDS 13
UEW?
and then 14.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, from the judges, UDS 10.5, 10, and 13. That should give us an average of 11.16. UEW, Judge 1, 12, Judge 2, 14.5, Judge 3, 14. That is an average of 13.5. So based on this, at the end of round 3, UDS had 11.16, UEW had 13.5. We are going into round 4A, but before then, there are schools who want to effect substitutions. You may go ahead now. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
All right, please introduce yourself, beginning from UEW.
Felix Blay, Bachelor of Science Accounting, level 300.
Okay, and who do we have from UDS?
I am Mohamed Amin, finance level 300.
All right, you're welcome, gentlemen, once again.
Thank you.
We go straight into round 4A, the graphic business segment. In this round, I'm going to ask you questions on some stories that appeared in the graphic business newspaper. For the purpose of this contest, we are looking at stories that appeared in the 17th and 24th September editions of the newspaper. Each of you will attempt 7 major questions. For a major question, you have 3 points if you get it correct in 10 seconds. If it's a bonus, 1 point to be answered in 5 seconds. 2 attempts only at a major question, 1 attempt at a bonus. Please, are we ready? If we are ready, we begin with University for Development Studies. But this is a common preamble to the two of you. Common preamble, but we are beginning with UDS. Ghana, like many developing nations, faces the difficulty of a high cost of living, which creates a substantial barrier for small and medium-sized enterprises seeking to establish and grow their operations. Dr. Andrews Ayiku, in his article on building an innovative business model, despite high living costs, discussed some practical steps for SMEs to develop innovative business models amid high cost of living in Ghana. Now, your question is to identify and explain briefly 3 each of these practical steps. Give me 3 each. Identify and explain 3 each of the practical steps given, beginning from UDS.
We have collaborating with other businesses, and that has to do with collaborating with your colleagues in the same industry to be able to cut down your cost of doing business. And you have that diversify your revenue streams. That has to investing in multiple businesses to rake in revenue, and then embracing technology as an electronical way of doing things to cut down your cost of doing businesses.
Yes, that is correct. UEW. UEW.
So we have reducing overhead costs, which is you reducing your costs that you actually incur that are not direct costs. And we also have concentrate on value creation. So at this point, you create personalized goods and services for the needs of your consumer. And also, you don't focus on the competition, but you focus on winning winning with the customers.
2 out of 3. The last one is to consider investing in employee tech training and development. It is not what you mentioned. I hope that is clear. Next set of questions. Still beginning with UDS. Okay. The Fidelity Bank Dream It, Own It campaign is on, as has been advertised in the graphic business newspaper for some time now. You are to mention any two of the offers each under the promo. Mention any two of the offers under the Fidelity Bank Dream It, Own It adverts.
We have climate action.
Climate action. Okay.
Sustainable lending.
That is not correct. That's not correct. Now you have your chance, UEW.
So you may purchase a new home, release equity in existing properties.
Yes, that is correct. I'm sure you thought an advert is not examinable. It's an advert, but once it's in the newspaper, it's examinable. Another set of questions, also a common preamble. Common preamble. The World Trade Report 2024 has shown that trade reforms have been a key driver of economic transformation in low and middle income countries. The report highlights ways in which new opportunities could be created for low and middle income countries. Mention three of these ways mentioned in the report. The World Trade Report highlights ways in which new opportunities could be created for low and middle income economies. Mention any three of these ways mentioned in the report. UDS.
So we have increase in trade and service, improvement in access to market, and then we have the development of trade in energies. In renewable energy, rather.
So 2 out of 3. The last one I'll mention that you missed, I'll explain that. Now, UEW, still with the same report. According to the report, diversifying global value chains, increasing trade in services, and developing trade in renewable energies can create new opportunities for low and middle income economies. You have to mention any three things these economies should do if they want to take advantage of these opportunities. Identify any three things these low and middle income economies should do if they want to take advantage of the opportunities that are presented by increasing trade in services, developing trade in renewable energies, etc.
So they can incorporate SDGs in their operation in order to attract foreign investment, and they can also look to engage international engagement and donor activation, and also they can also use sustainable things like renewable energy and renewable resources in their operation.
That is not what was mentioned in the article. Bonus for you, UDS. What I was expecting: address trade costs in services, bridge the digital divide, and tackle regulatory capacity and compliance issues. That is what I was expecting. Next set of questions, still beginning with UDS, is a common preamble. So the preamble: Binance, that's a leading global chain ecosystem behind the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange by trading volume and users, is gearing up for the highly anticipated 6th edition of the Binance Blockchain Week. UDS, identify any 3 speakers at the program who are not members of Binance leadership team. Identify any 3 key speakers at the program who are not members of the Binance leadership team.
We have Adib Ahmed and Fadi Gaudu and Halifa.
All right. What do we do? Okay. So the last name he's trying to mention is Khalfan, not Khalifa. But of course, it's a noun, and I want to give it to them. 3 out of 3. Now, UEW, you have to identify any 3 speakers at the program who are members of the Binance leadership team. Identify any 3 speakers at the program who are members of the Binance leadership team.
So we have Heyi, and then we have Kolan, and then also we have Behau.
You have what?
So we have.
Mention the last name. You go ahead. Blay, go ahead.
We have Heyi.
Okay.
And then Kolan.
Okay.
And then also Harfan Behal.
No, Halfan is not part of the team. Halfan was what they actually mentioned, and I was trying to get the right name for them. So I'll give you 2 out of 3. The other names are Richard Tang, Noah Pellman, Rohit Wad, and Vishal Yamre. Let's go on. Sashindran, yes. Okay. For our next set of questions, we begin with UEW. UEW are starting the next set for us. According to new data from the Ghana Statistical Service, the producer price inflation increased between July and August. The main driver of this increase was the industry sector, although the services sector also saw an increase. What was the producer price index rate for the accommodation and food services subsector in July, August, and the percentage points change? What was the PPI rate for the accommodation and food services subsector in July, August, and the percentage points change? UEW.
So in July is 37.9, and then August is 44.2, and then the change is 6.3.
That is not correct. You have one other chance. Okay, you've been bailed out. Bonus for you, UDS. You've also been bailed out. I'll give the figures later. Now, UDS. What was a PPI, that's a producer price inflation rate, for the transport and storage subsector in July, August, and the percentage point change? What was the PPI rate for the transport and storage subsector in July, August, and the percentage points change? Bonus for UEW.
July is 12.4, and then August is 16. The change is 3.6.
No, that is not correct. July is 26.8%, August is 29%, difference is 2.2%. Now for your major question, July was 28.3%, 30.9% for August, and the change was 2.6%. Next set of questions. Okay. UEW, Republic Bank Ghana PLC, made a strong recovery from its financial performance position in 2022. This was announced by the board chairman, Mr. David Adoashon, at the bank's annual general meeting. What are the 3 key commitments of the bank going into 2024? What are the 3 key commitments of the bank going into 2024 according to the story?
So they have to focus on their customer deposit, because that is where they get much funds from, and they have to also look at their net interest income, and then they have to also look at investing in other diversified portfolios in order to enhance their financial performance. They also have to commit to their strategic plan for the year.
1 out of 3. The three key commitments: prioritize customers, offer excellent services, and embed a digitization plan and culture. Your major question, UDS, is that according to the same board chairman, he noted that the bank will dwell on a strengthened cooperation to sustain an effective upside risk. What are the three key commitments of this strengthened cooperation of the bank? What are the three key commitments of this strengthened cooperation of the bank?
We have corporate social responsibility, public-private partnership, and revenue mobilization.
That is not correct. You've been bailed out. Bonus for you, EW.
You have to look at sustainable strategies and then investing in other profitable portfolios.
I'll take that for a bonus. Provide debt relief, facilitate trade integration, tackle climate change, and alleviate food insecurity. And now to our last set of questions for this round. Last set. Open to both of you is a common preamble. According to a release by the Ministry of Finance, government will continue to prioritize the restoration and sustenance of macroeconomic stability, which is necessary for the promotion of its inclusive growth agenda. Three sectors contributed to the growth of the first half of the year. You have to identify any one sector and illustrate how that sector contributed to this growth, highlighting the key performers and underperformers under that sector. Identify any one sector and illustrate how that sector contributed to this growth, highlighting the key performers and underperformers in this sector. Beginning with UEW.
So we have the agriculture sector. So agriculture sector actually supports some basic SMEs that are also dealing in the agriculture sector. So the key performance are the issues of the planting for food and jobs, and then the so we also have the expansion in the economy in the year.
Are you talking success?
So with the agriculture sector, they have to look at maybe the fisheries and then the produce that comes at the end of the year, and make sure that they invest in the agriculture sector with the support with fertilizer and other agriculture input to improve the produce from the agri sector.
I'll give you 2 out of 3. Yeah, so UDS, you also identify any one sector and tell us how it contributed to the growth.
We have the industry. Another industry, we have mining, which contributed immensely to the industry, and as well as the government 1G1F policy. And then
Rafik, you want to add something to what he's saying?
The mining contributed greatly to the extent that it contributed to the gold for oil program and the government purchase of gold.
I'll also give you 2 out of 3. It's fine. I'll give you 2 out of 3. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we come to the end of round 4A. So it is still a tight contest between UDS and UEW. A place at the grand finale is at stake. We have 2 more rounds to go, the true or false segment and the riddles. Any of these 2 schools can win and join KNUST at the finals. So we have the scores for round 4A, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of round 4A, the scores. UEW had 10 points, UDS had 10 points. We are going into round 4B, which is a true or false segment. In this round, I'm going to read out some very simple statements to you. You are just to tell me if the statement is true or false. As simple as that. If you get it correct, I'll dash you 2 points. But if you get it wrong, I'll deduct -1. Yes. You have 10 seconds within which to give me an answer. Each of you will attempt 7 major questions. Please, are you ready? Are you ready? UDS. Are you ready, UEW? Yes. All right, so we begin this round from the University of Education Winneba. True or false segment. Please, there should be no form of communication between the audience and those on stage. UEW. Professional skepticism requires auditors to be suspicious of all management representations, regardless of the context. True or false? Professional skepticism requires auditors to be suspicious of all management representations, regardless of the context. True or false?
It's true.
No, it's not true. UDS. Professional skepticism involves recognizing that fraud is always present in financial statements due to the inherent nature of financial reporting. True or false? Professional skepticism involves recognizing that fraud is always present in financial statements due to the inherent nature of financial reporting. True or false?
That is true.
No, it is not true. There is a difference between having a questioning or critical mind and having a suspicious mind. They are different. They are not the same. UEW. In the transactional model of communication, both the sender and the receiver are simultaneously involved in the process of encoding and decoding messages. In the transactional model of communication, both the sender and the receiver are simultaneously involved in the process of encoding and decoding messages. True or false?
It's true.
Yes, it's true. UDS. The transactional model of communication views communication as a linear process with a clear sender and receiver. The transactional model of communication views communication as a linear process with a clear sender and receiver. True or false?
True.
No, it's not true. UEW. When 2 movie theater chains pay for advertisement proposing that people should go out and see a show tonight, their expenditures are strategies in a zero-sum game where profit is a payoff. When 2 movie theater chains pay for advertisement proposing that people should go out and see a show tonight, their expenditures are strategies in a zero-sum game where profit is a payoff. True or false?
It's false.
Yes, it's false. UDS. If the payoffs in a game are measured in terms of market share, then duopolies are engaged in a non-zero-sum game. True or false? If the payoffs in a game are measured in terms of market share, then duopolies are engaged in a non-zero-sum game. True or false?
That is false.
No, it's not false. UEW. Web 2.0 technologies prioritize hierarchical communication structures over peer-to-peer interactions. Web 2.0 technologies prioritize hierarchical communication structures over peer-to-peer interactions. True or false?
It's false.
Yes, it's false. UDS, unified communications require users to have a stable internet connection to access communication channels. Unified communications require users to have a stable internet connection to access communication channels. True or false? You've been bailed out. Do you want to take the bonus or do you want to take the question? UEW. Yes, go ahead.
It is false.
It's not false. It's not false. For our next set of questions, we are beginning with UDS. UDS will start the next set for us. Replacement analysis assumes that the cost associated with acquiring and operating a new asset will remain constant over its entire useful life. True or false? Replacement analysis assumes that the cost associated with acquiring and operating a new asset will remain constant over its entire useful life. True or false?
False.
Yes, it's false. UEW. In replacement analysis, the decision to replace an asset is based on a comparison of the total cost associated with each alternative at a specific point in time. In replacement analysis, the decision to replace an asset is based on a comparison of the total cost associated with each alternative at a specific point in time.
It's true.
No, it's not true, it's false. Next set of questions, still with UDS. Framework contracting agreement is used only for goods that can be procured off the shelf or are of common use with standard specifications. True or false? Framework contracting agreement, that is in public procurement, is used for only goods that can be procured off the shelf or are of common use with standard specifications. True or false?
False.
No, it's not false. UEW. Framework contracting agreement is a contract without consideration for the purchase and supply of specified goods or services. Framework contracting agreement is a contract without consideration for the purchase and supply of specified goods or services. True or false?
It's true.
Yes, it's true. And now the last set of questions for this round. UDS. The triple bottom line in supply chain management focuses on economic, environmental, and ethical considerations. The triple bottom line in supply chain management focuses on economic, environmental, and ethical considerations. True or false?
True.
No. Economic, environmental, and social, not ethical. Now, UEW, the last question for this round. The triple bottom line is incompatible with traditional supply chain performance metrics like cost reduction and efficiency. The triple bottom line is incompatible with traditional supply chain performance metrics like cost reduction and efficiency. True or false?
True.
It is not true. It is false. On that note, we come to the end of round 4B. Ladies and gentlemen, it is still a contest between UEW and UDS. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one final round to go, and that is the riddles. So scores for round 4B. Obviously, what you are projecting is not correct. Please rectify that quickly. So the program is brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with ICAG and GTech. Our media partners, Daily Graphic, Graphic Online, TV3, and Asasi Radio. Our sponsors, MTN, PwC, Glyco, CompuGhana, Goal Ghana, as well as the Ghana National Association of Teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, the scores for round 4B. At the end of round 4B, UDS had -3, UEW had 4 points. The fifth and final round will be on riddles. The riddles are open to both of you. You have to indicate your readiness to answer a riddle by ringing your bell. What is the bell from UDS? And that of UEW. When you ring your bell, you have a maximum of 10 seconds to give me an answer. Now, if you get it wrong, you can no longer partake in that particular riddle. Where there are additional clues, I'll give them to the hearing of the remaining school. Again, if you get it correct, depending on the clue that you answer, you may get 5 points for answering on the first clue, 4 points on second clue, 3 points on any other clue. There will be 6 riddles in all. Riddle number 1. I am a concept in psychology and behavioral finance. I am closely tied to marketing, in which companies often try to take advantage of this cognitive bias. 2. I can be clearly seen with items that have an emotional or significant symbolic significance to the individual. 3. Research has identified ownership and loss aversion as the 2 main psychological reasons causing me. 4. Investors can overcome me by having a clear investment strategy with a plan on when to sell specific investments. Investors can overcome me by having a clear investment strategy with a plan on when to sell specific investments. And then 5. In behavioral finance, I describe a circumstance in which an individual places a higher value on an object that they already own than the value they will place on that same object. Yes, UEW.
The endowment effect.
Yes, endowment effect is correct. They answered on the last clue, that is 3 points. 3 points. Riddle number 2. I am a form of contract that usually has non-negotiable terms and conditions. 2. I am meant to simplify business transactions by standardizing the agreement between the supplier and the buyer. Little wonder that I am also known as standardized or boilerplate contracts. UEW.
I take it or leave it contract.
No, it is not that. That's not correct. I continue for the purpose or for the benefit of UDS. I am often used for insurance, leases, vehicle purchases, mortgages, and other transactions where there is a high volume of customers who fit a standard form of agreement. Generally, I am prepared by a party to a potential transaction that has a product or service sought by another party, the consumer. The preparer has a stronger bargaining position, and the consumer must accept me in order to obtain the product or service. A form of take it or leave it agreement, where you must accept the contract or walk away. Who am I? The answer is the adhesion or adhesion contracts. Adhesion contracts. Riddle number 3. I am one of the methods for valuing inventory. I tend to provide more useful information on sales. Under my method, each item is tagged with its purchase cost and any additional costs that are incurred until it is sold. I am useful and usable when a company is able to identify, mark, and track each item or unit in inventory. This distinguishes me from LIFO or FIFO, which groups pieces of inventory together based on when they were purchased and how much they cost. 5. I am often used for more expensive items, such as furniture or vehicles. I am also used when the products stored have widely different features and costs. Who am I? Yes, go ahead.
The weighted average method.
No. UDS. Yes, go ahead.
That's perpetual inventory.
No. Specific identification method. Specific identification method. Riddle number 4. I am a type. Let's go on. We go on. I am a type of financing most normally used to fulfill a company's short-term working capital needs. I bridge the gap between the time when a company's money is set to run out and when it can expect to receive an infusion of funds later on. I normally come from an investment bank or venture capital firm in the form of a loan or equity. UDS.
That's overdraft.
No, please. UEW.
Debt capital.
No, please. You've both missed your chances. The answer is bridge financing or bridge loan. Reader number 5. I am an important metric in online advertising. I measure how successful an ad has been in capturing users' attention. I'm used in advertising to gauge the effectiveness or success of an online marketing campaign. The higher I am, the more successful the ad has been in generating interest. UDS.
Likes.
It is not likes. It is not like. A high rate can help a website owner support the site through advertising dollars measured in cost per click. Because internet users have become greatly desensitized to ads on web pages over time, have fallen over the years as users get used to ignoring them. I am the percentage of individuals viewing a web page who view and then click on a specific advertisement or advertisement that appears on that page. Who am I? UEW. Yes, UEW.
Pay per click.
No. It is a click-through rate. Click-through rate. And now the last riddle for this contest. I am a special type of audit conducted by the Ghana Revenue Authority. I may be classified as DEX or field audit and also issue-based or compliance audits. According to the GRA, I am a modern customs administration tool recognized as the most effective way of securing national revenue and facilitating trade simultaneously. I'm usually a joint exercise of the operational unit of the Customs Division and the Domestic Tax Revenue Division. 4. The purpose I serve is to verify the accuracy and authenticity of declarations, and I cover the control of traders' commercial data, records, and books. 5. I refer to an audit performed by Customs Control subsequent to the release of cargo from Customs custody. Who am I? Yes, UEW.
post-clearance audit.
Post-clearance audit is correct. Post-clearance audit is correct. They answered on the last clue, that is 3 points. So, ladies and gentlemen, on that post-clearance audit note, we come to the end of the contest between UDS and UEW. We'll wait for the scores for the contest, but UDS had no score in this round. UEW had 6 points because they answered 2 riddles correctly. We are waiting for the final scores to determine who won this contest. But before then, UDS, Northern Zone champions, how did your meeting with the national champion go?
I imagine it went well, to the extent that we did our best, and clearly we are hungry to win. And as long as the game continues, should we be here next year, the tables will turn in absolute terms.
Have you conceded before the final results?
Obviously, that should be the case.
What do you think worked against you, or what didn't go right?
We are only level 300 students, and these are the reigning champions of the system. And clearly, you can imagine the disparity in status. But we were hungry and ready to do our best, and we have done our best. Clearly, next year, we shall do better than we have done so far.
Thank you. What do you make of your opponents?
They are good, and we are impressed with their performance.
Okay. UW, UDS is impressed with your performance. Are you impressed by your own performance?
This performance is way below belt, and then we've realized that going forward, those that we are going to meet, we actually need to go and do our homeworks very well before we can defend this title.
What do you think didn't go well per your expectations?
Some of the reasons, we have limited time actually, but we know that this game is for those that are ready. So we'll go and then work hard and come back in all readiness.
What do you have to say to your opponents?
We know that they are very good school, they are A school, but they have made the best school actually. So as they said, they have to go and work and then come back next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, titles have been thrown about. Yes, the best. And all of that. But a place at the grand finale is what we are waiting to see how this will go. The best will be decided at the grand finale. At the end of the contest, the final results. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the contest, University for Development Studies from Tamale, the Northern Zone champions, had 28.16 points. Please give it up to them. University of Education Winneba, the Southwest Zone champion and the reigning national champion, had 60.5 points. Please show some love. By these results, and by the powers in me vested as a quizmaster of the Tertiary Business Science Challenge, I hereby declare that the University of Education has qualified to the grand finale of the 2024 Tertiary Business Science Challenge version 6.0. Congratulations to you, University of Education Winneba.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, so KNUST has already qualified. We have UEW also qualifying. The next semi-final contest will feature the University of Ghana and the SD Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies. For you, UDS, you did your best. But like you said, on the day, you fell short of the mark. Okay, so this is where your journey in this year's Tertiary Business Science Challenge will have to come to an end. You have done your school proud by qualifying to the semi-finals. We hope you go and then prepare and come back stronger in the 2025 edition. So thank you for coming to this year's championship. We will see you next year. Now to you, UEW. You have made your school proud. This is an opportunity to defend your national championship. Like I said, no school has done a back-to-back defense of the title. You have a perfect opportunity to defend that or to set that record straight. You have qualified to the grand finale. I'll see you at the finals. So, ladies and gentlemen, the second semi-final contest has just come to an end, with the defending national champion qualifying to join KNUST at the finals. We have our last semi-final contest, which will feature the University of Ghana and the SD Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies. That was so promised to be exciting. We will see which of them will qualify to join these two schools at the finals. So on behalf of Graphic Communications Group, especially the Graphic Business newspaper, on behalf of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana and the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, on behalf of MTN, PwC, Glyco, Compi Ghana, Ghana National Association of Teachers, GOL Ghana, as well as TV3 Daily Graphic Online, on behalf of my panel of judges, Ellie, Albert, and then Dixon, thank you so much for being part of this contest. I'll see you in the next contest. But before then, appreciation to my production team, Atuafo, Franklin Sowa, Samuel Issel, Hussein Zakari, David Ebo, Yvonne Aye, Prosper Zuma, NSJC, David Gazo, Lawrence Asare, Jacob Doku, Felix Tay, Joshua Mpenua, Evans Tayuba, Harrison, as well as Franklin Aka, and Alfred Ej Akum. It's been a pleasure being your quiz master this afternoon. I'll see you in the next contest between the University of Ghana and the SD Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development State. Until then, my name is Al-Hassan Yusuf Traore, and I love academic violence. I'll see you later. Bye-bye for now.
The very essence of leadership is to become more. At